Good evening. He was part of the soundtrack for rock fans in the 1980s and in more recent times an inspirational campaigner during a 30-year personal battle against cancer. Tributes have been pouring in for the frontman of The Alarm, Mike Peters, who's died at the age of 66. At their peak, The Alarm enjoyed chart success both here and in America and supported the likes of U2 and Queen. The singer, who lived in Denbighshire, became a tireless fundraiser and continued to perform around the world after being diagnosed with cancer. Matthew Richards looks back on his life.
Mike Peters sold over 5 million albums and had 15 top 40 hits with The Alarm, formed in 1981. Despite splitting in the 1990s, the band took on a new life in the year 2000, and Mike toured the world, performing with Bob Dylan and Bono. He always returned home, though, living in Diserth near Prestatyn with his wife Jules and their 2 sons. In 1990, the couple visited flood victims in nearby Tywyn. In 2004, the band released a single under a pseudonym, fooling the music press into believing it was the debut of a group of teenagers, a story later turned into a film. After being diagnosed with chronic leukemia, Mike Peters helped set up a charity to raise funds for the North Wales Cancer Centre, which treated him. He later co-founded the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation. Its director remembers when Mike's treatment almost led to the cancellation of a performance.
He'd arranged a gig in the pub cafe that him and his wife have, and he called Jules up and said, "I want to come and do the gig." So there he was, should have been and was in hospital. He got a pass for a couple of hours and out he came because he just loved being with people.
Mike's gigs, where he'd regularly wear his trademark camouflage jacket, brought a new definition to the term unplugged, as he performed for fans at the summit of Ardwyddfa or Snowdon and then Everest in 2007.
We've been rewarded by the clouds clearing up, and we've got this most amazing view of the Everest horseshoe.
His health issues continued and were charted in a BBC Wales documentary by Mike and Jules, who was later to face her own cancer diagnosis. But the fundraising and concerts, including the so-called Gathering, which has been held for Alarm fans every year since 1993, went on. Mike led crowds at the Millennium Stadium in a sing-along to welcome the Wales team home from their semi-final appearance at Euro 2016 and recorded an anthem for the side in 2021. He learned in September 2022 that after a bout of pneumonia, the leukemia had returned. He was admitted to the Christie Cancer Centre in Manchester earlier this year to undergo radical treatment.
I'm not looking at it as a chance to recover. I don't want to recover. The recovery is getting back what I had. Now, that was 30 years of cancer. I want to transform myself now into a cancer-free life.
Billy Duffy was a contemporary and friend of Mike's. The guitarist with rock band The Cult recalls how they had lots in common apart from music.
Eventually, the guitars came out, but not as early as people probably thought. That was probably the last thing. It was football, hiking, hanging out. Those were our kind of interests, the outdoors. He loved North Wales. He was very inspired by the countryside, as was and as am I. So, you know, in the end, I think finally cancer caught up with him. You know, like he said, he was outrunning it for as long as he could. And I think he inspired millions of people.
Mike had arranged for a final track to be released after his death was announced. Called Finally Free, it's a fitting tribute to a rock legend, an inspirational campaigner.
Mike Peters, who's died at the age of 66.